All right, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are asking the very important question, who's your bone daddy? Today, we are addressing the topic of bone daddies. In other words, skeletal figures from anime that are weird, but also that have a strong following, a very, very strong following, and some people that are a little too devoted to following them. Anyway, today, our 5 contestants are the great Ainz Ooal Gown from Overlord, the sad and somewhat pathetic skull-faced bookseller Honda-san from Skull-Faced Bookseller Honda-san, Ark from The Skeleton Knight, Brooke from One Piece, and Adalmann from That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime, better known as Tensura. While each of these characters has a distinct personality, they all not all of them, I don't think. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Let's start at the beginning. First up, we have the Bone Daddy of Bone Daddies himself, Ainz Ooal Gown. Ainz was originally not Ainz. He was Momonga. He was the guild master of the guild, Ainz Ooal Gown, in the game Yggdrasil. The story, the brief story, the very short story version of this is Ainz gets trapped in this game and ends up being like the only player for a very long time that is seen. And so he runs around with an entourage of basically overpowered NPCs that he created that suddenly decide that he knows everything and he's the best thing ever. It had nothing to do at all with Ainz messing with people's codes. Anyway, Ainz is a good leader for the most part. As he turns into a Lich King, basically an Elder Lich, he realizes that his human traits are slowly disappearing and that he doesn't feel sad for humans anymore. He views them kind of like pets or bugs or just a nuisance. Man, it is hard to not spoil this anime if you haven't watched the whole thing or if you haven't read the light novels. Anyway, Bone Daddy reasons. Albedo, his chief officer of the Guardians of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, has a thing for him, has a big thing for him. And so does Sheltier. And so do, anyway, the list goes on and on. Arguably the most popular among the female entourage that follows them about in the anime, I would say Ainz gets 5 Bone Daddy bones out of 5 Bone Daddy bones. Next up, we have Honda-san. Now, this anime was a little tricky for me to get into because I didn't quite get it. It's more in the chibi. It's not like truly chibi style, but it is much more of a goofball anime that covers the story of Honda-san as a retail bookseller. He's basically an employee that ends up stacking books a lot and getting overrun by customers that have odd personality quirks, if you will. I don't know if that's how you want to call it or not, but Honda is a pretty passive guy. He's just vibing, and he vibes under a lot of stress, it seems. He's constantly stressed, actually. He's very stressed, actually, because the books are not in the right places and everything is chaos in that bookstore. And it's a constant Halloween party, too, so that's cool. Anyway, on the scale, I'll say, of Bone Daddies, Honda gets a sad tailbone. And that's about it. Next, Ark. Ark from Skeleton Knight is, I believe it is technically an isekai, and it is a decent story. I'll give you that. It's basically overpowered knight doing overpowered things, except he's a skeleton in a suit of armor because he doesn't want anyone to realize that he's a skeleton in a suit of armor. Anyway, Ark is a good dude, and he also, like Ainz, has a decent female following, though not quite as interesting, if you'll say, as Ainz's following. He runs around doing just acts, and he's a good guy. So unlike Ainz as well, he doesn't have an undead, dark backstory. He's just a skeleton knight who does good stuff. He frees slaves from captivity. He kills bad guys. This show, while good, it was simple, but there may have been, a bit of fan service. Anyway, Ark is a good guy and deserves all the bones. So we're going to give him a 4 out of 5 Bone Daddy bones because he, qualifies. He has an entourage that follows him around. And that's good, because Ainz can't be the only one. Next, One Piece, Brooke. Brooke the Soul King. We'll call him the Soul King because he has that soul in his guitar. Brooke is a musician and a perv. Which is more foremost in his mind? I'm not sure. He's a very good singer and a very good guitar player, but he's also a perv. And we know there are many women in One Piece, but I don't think you could say that he really, of the women of Nico Robin, of Nami, you don't really have anyone falling head over heels for Brooke. Partly because he's desperate, constantly saying,
Pants, 見せてもらってもよろしいですか?
Brooke is a good dude. He's talented, he's a good fighter, he has wicked sword skills, and he's a great musician. So he does have a giant audience of people that love his music. So that is one thing that he has over everyone else. And I would argue he's more popular in One Piece as a musician than all of Angel Beats is in their universe. Brooke is a good dude, but he's a perv, so he's not a good dude. Anyway, Brooke gets 5 scapulas out of 7. Finally, the last, Adalmann. Wow, that's not how you pronounce his name, but Adalmann. I would prefer to say Adalmann. But anyway, Adalmann, where do we meet him? We met him at Clayman's castle. By the time we interact with him, he's nothing but an elder lich, which is ironically exactly the same thing that Ainz Ooal Gown is. Man, there are so many similarities now I think about. So, who are his minions? Well, he doesn't have a huge amount of minions aside from what he can summon as an undead. Adalmann is a power player and he's a good dude. He's a genuinely good dude. Adalmann, as a skeletal bone daddy, gets a, let's see, we'll give him a 3 out of 6 tibulas. Why tibulas? I don't know. Probably so his dragon can chew on them. Out of these 5 bone daddies, who is your favorite bone daddy? Let me know in the comments below which bone daddy is your favorite bone daddy and which one's not your favorite bone daddy. Anyway, I'll catch you next time.